You might remember a couple of years ago when I was doing those recordings on biblical economics that I spoke a lot about Machiavellianism, which is a weird combination of an antisocial personality trait that you find in the business world a lot, especially with managers and stuff like this. And it basically means that you have this dark triad of um, narcissism and psychopathy and and something else. But basically, it means a combination of deception and cruelty. And that's what you have here with this alligator snapping turtle. He's gonna start wiggling his tongue, which looks a lot like a worm, and he's going to try to lure this fish into his mouth by deceiving the fish. That's the first step. Watch how he deceives this fish, okay, into seeing this quote unquote worm in its mouth. So much so that he can't even realize that this is a turtle. So the immobility of the turtle is making him camouflage himself from the fish. He doesn't even realize that that's a turtle. He thinks that's just like a hole, like maybe like a trunk or like an open tree or something with a worm in it. And so he gets closer and closer, and here comes the cruelty. Right? Here comes the cruelty. Here, pay close attention. He's going to lure it in, deceive it, and seduce it into thinking that that's a worm there. And then here comes the cruelty step. Smack! Okay? Dang. You see, that's a totally Machiavellian turtle right there. Deception, seduction, and then finally, wham! Devouring. Devouring with cruelty and fierceness. Okay? So that's a perfect illustration of what you have in the business world with a lot of guys. A lot of sales guys are like that. A lot of managers are like that. And Niccolo Machiavelli wrote in his book, The Prince, I forget which chapters, it's like 2 chapters he spent actually teaching people that you should rule people like that if you're a president, that you should rule people like that if you're a business manager, and that you should rule people like that if you're a pastor of a church. No kidding. No kidding. Now, he didn't say the pastor of church thing necessarily, but he lived in the time of the popes. I mean, dude. Queen Jezebel, 1 Kings 19. She wanted to help Ahab get the vineyard next door. So what did she do? She seduced and deceived Naboth to come, the guy who owned the vineyard, to come to a party. Then she had some guys kill him. And then after he was dead, Ahab got the vineyard he wanted. That's Machiavellianism. That's Machiavellianism. If you have that type of behavior, the end justifies the means. All right, where there's lying and seduction to pull a person in, and then wham, you take advantage of a person. All right, that is wickedness. That is wickedness. And 1 Timothy 4 talks about people who teach doctrines of devils and have their consciences seared as with a hot iron. So you need to watch out, man. These prosperity preachers are usually going to be the number one type of guys you need to avoid that are like that.